Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, the Chancellor sent out another email clarifying the vaccine mandates for university employees. We'll break down the mandate. Mississippi's coronavirus case numbers have been steadily declining over the last 2 weeks, but today the state reported a massive jump in cases. We'll take a look at the numbers. And OPD issued citations for multiple businesses that sold alcohol to minors last week. Find out what businesses are getting citations. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now. Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Hannah Baker. Yesterday, all of campus was under a boil water notice. The water coming out of water fountains and faucets was brown, forcing the university to place a precautionary boil water alert. Today, that alert is lifted for the Oxford campus and the water is now safe to drink. The University of Mississippi is now requiring all employees, including student workers, to be fully vaccinated by December 8th. In order for workers to meet the December 8th deadline, those receiving Moderna vaccines will need to get the first dose by Wednesday, Pfizer vaccines by November 3rd, and Johnson & Johnson by November 24th. The institutions of Higher Learning Board of Trustees voted Monday to direct employees of all state universities to receive the vaccine in accordance with President Joe Biden's executive order. That applies to student and graduate workers as well as all other workers on campus. Employees who have not provided proof of vaccination or have not received an accommodation by January 3rd, 2022 may be released from employment. The vaccines are offered free to all faculty and students. However, only student employees are required to be vaccinated. New coronavirus cases have been dropping steadily in Mississippi in recent weeks, reaching new case numbers that were the lowest seen since May. But today's new cases look drastically different. There are just over 1,600 new COVID cases today, which brings total cases across Mississippi to above 500,000. The Mississippi State Department of Health also reported 33 newly identified deaths, none of which were in Lafayette County. At this time, we don't have an official report on new cases in the county for today. In other health news, recent studies show that the risk of lung cancer death drops by half 10 years after quitting smoking. The incidences of lung cancer have decreased by 7% in the state of Mississippi over the last 5 years, according to data from the American Lung Association. As of 2018, the CDC said lung cancer was the leading cause of cancer death in the United States. Unfortunately, in Mississippi, lung cancer rates are higher than the national average. Director of the Mississippi Tobacco-Free Coalition of Lafayette County says quitting smoking at any point in time provides new health benefits and lower your risk of cancer. For more information about the dangers of cigarettes, visit healthyms.com/tobacco or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Due to the pandemic, the Oxford Food Pantry is in need for volunteers. NewsWatch reporter Olivia Wright has more on how to volunteer.
The COVID-19 pandemic and its economic downturns within the past year has made more Oxford community members reliable on the Oxford Pantry. There was approximately a 30% increase of clients just this fall alone. Because of this, the pantry is currently asking for volunteers, both from students and community members. Kate Suddeth says that volunteering is a rewarding experience.
I started volunteering here last year during the pandemic. I kind of came sporadically, would come on Tuesday, Thursdays for a while, and then maybe Wednesdays for a while. I really enjoy getting to know different people. You always kind of strike up conversation, sometimes with older members of the community that are there with a local church, and then also peers that are my own age, but I never would have met them if it wasn't for the pantry.
Emily Reed, a student volunteer, promotes student volunteering within Oxford.
I would say the first time I went, I've gone a few times now, and I got to know some of the people who regularly work there and kind of run the food pantry, and they're definitely older folks, so they have a lot of stories to tell about when they were kids and just things that I don't have any perspective on whatsoever because I'm only 20 years old. I would just say whether you're volunteering for your organization like I was trying to do, or if you're just kind of trying to help out your community, everything's a great opportunity to meet people with perspective like I mentioned earlier, and just that it's not, you don't need to just volunteer for service hours because it really makes you a more well-rounded person. It's fun, and yeah, it's good. It's really fun. I would just say make sure you try to do it at some point because you never know if you don't try.
The food pantry is open to any community member of Oxford or students to come volunteer every Wednesday and Thursday morning, especially as we near the holiday season. This is Olivia Wright with NewsWatch Ole Miss.
To volunteer or for more information about the pantry, they ask to directly call 662-832-8001. The 662 area code is just one of many in which callers will have to dial 10 digits to make a phone call. The nation is preparing to release a new 988 call service to reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which will work like the emergency 911 does now. However, several area codes, such as the Oxford area, use 988 as their first three numbers of 7. So callers must dial their 3-digit area code first now when dialing an 899 number. Last year, the hotline was set up by the Federal Communications Commission and will be available nationwide next July. Callers are still able to reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline by dialing 1-800-237-8255. Oxford police arrested an Oxford man this weekend on a felony domestic violence charge. On Sunday, the Oxford Police Department was dispatched to the 1000 block of Buchanan Avenue in reference to a domestic assault. Officers arrived and arrested Taylor Beard, 25, and charged him with aggravated domestic violence, a felony charge when a weapon or strangulation used during the assault. Beard was taken to the Lafayette County Detention Center where a $20,000 bond was set. As part of OPD's busy weekend, this weekend 5 Oxford businesses received citations for selling alcohol to a minor. These businesses and restaurants failed alcohol compliance checks conducted by the Oxford Police Department. These establishments were Walgreens, Lamar Yard, Joysticks, Brittany Store, and the Marathon gas station on South Lamar. Each of them were issued post-arrest citation according to OPD. A compliance check was also conducted at Rocket's gas station, which was the only business to refuse the sale to a minor according to OPD. This year's OPD Haunted House is set to provide the scares for a good cause. The OPD is preparing the shocks and scares for the community for their annual 3-night haunted event. It is set to take place starting today until October 28th from 6 to 9 p.m. and October 29th through the 30th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the OPD's training building. The event has been going on for the past 15 years to entertain the children living at Riverside Place. The public has the opportunity to take blood-chilling adventure with the OPD that will cost $5 per person at the door. This year, funds will go to helping 2 babies, a part of the OPD family, who are receiving care at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. And the University of Mississippi Museum has been named one of the state's best for art by Mississippi Magazine. The recognition came out in Mississippi's new Best of Travel Awards, which were first given this year. Last year, the magazine also recognized Faulkner's Home as the state's best historic site. The museum is featured in the September-October edition of the magazine. Current exhibitions at the museum include Dreams and Visions and a display examining the tradition of African American quilt making. The museum's collection also contains art like Greek and Roman antiques, Jacob Hashimoto's intricate drawings, the Millington Barnard collection of scientific instruments, and Southern folk art from the late 19th century to the 20th century. For more information about the UM Museum and historic houses, visit museum.olemiss.edu. Yesterday, we told you about severe weather that tore across parts of the country. Now there are more storms coming, and significant flooding is expected to come with them. CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on the dangers.
After record rainfall in the west, the East Coast bracing for a snowless nor'easter, and tens of millions of Americans are facing flood threats.
Flooding is incredibly dangerous because it can happen in a matter of moments with very little warning.
The immediate health impacts of floods include drowning, injuries, hypothermia, and insect or animal bites. Most flood-related deaths are attributed to flash floods.
2 feet of water can move a vehicle, can float a vehicle, and can certainly sweep a person off their feet.
Oh my God.
That's why the Red Cross is urging anyone near flooding to stay aware and not to go outside in the peak of any storm unless you have to.
If you are caught out in moving water, rising water, you should evacuate your car immediately and get to higher ground and call authorities from there.
If you find yourself driving and there's a road covered in water, turn around.
You never know the conditions underneath the water and the current that could very quickly sweep you away into a different area.
Other things to keep in mind: flood water can be contaminated, so keep yourself, your children, and pets away from it. There could also be downed power lines or dangerous insects or animals in the water.
So we never want you out and about in flood water if you don't have to be.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Red Cross says to make sure you dispose of anything that's been saturated by floodwater and can't be sanitized or cleaned properly. That could be another hazard. Coming up, the FDA is meeting to discuss vaccines for children today. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
It's so sad. It's not.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The FDA vaccine advisors are meeting today to vote on emergency authorization for the use of Pfizer's corona vaccine in children aged 5 to 11. CNN's Isabella Robles is in Washington with the latest on vaccines for kids.
Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine may soon be available to its youngest patients yet. On Tuesday, an independent FDA advisory committee weighing potential benefits to possible risks. Then, voting on whether to recommend the shots for kids 5 to 11 years old under emergency use.
If we do end up recommending this vaccine, we would only do it if we would give it to our own children.
If authorized by the full FDA, it would be the same vaccine adults receive, but smaller. 2 doses, 21 days apart. Each dose, 10 micrograms. A third of the size used for people's ages 12 and older.
Questions that I always ask are, is it safe, is it effective, and will it be impactful in the lives of children?
Pfizer's data shows its vaccine generated a robust antibody response in kids 5 to 11 and says it is safe and 90.7% effective against symptomatic COVID-19 in that age group.
Even as we face the cold weather and other concerns about whether we might see another surge, we don't want that, and this would be one significant step forward.
The FDA says the shots carry a theoretical rare risk for the age group of inflammation of the heart muscle and lining, but the risk of COVID-19 is higher if enough virus is circulating. After the vote, the FDA will make the final decision, and next month, the CDC will vote on whether to recommend it. With the director's okay, vaccines could be available to younger children by early November. In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
Pfizer's vaccine has emergency approval for children 12 and up and full approval for everyone 16 and up. Johnson & Johnson and Moderna have not requested emergency use for young children. Southwest Airlines already saw a major crisis that may have been related to vaccines, and now United Airlines may face one as well. The airline said that many of its vaccinated pilots and flight attendants are refusing to fly with their unvaccinated coworkers. 6 United employees are suing the airline after being put on leave for the medical or religious exemptions to the mandate. Last month, United said that about 2,000 of its 67,000 employees have applied for exemption on medical or religious grounds, while a few hundred could be fired for refusing to get vaccinated without requesting an exemption. In other health news, marijuana vaping has soared in popularity among teens in recent years. A new study shows that from 2013 to 2022, the number of teens vaping marijuana doubled. It's most popular in high schoolers. 1 in 3 high schoolers said they have done it. Most teens also said they prefer to vape cannabis extract, which leads to more intense highs due to greater concentration of THC over dried marijuana. Experts are also concerned that many teens said they do not believe marijuana is harmful. And over the course of the pandemic, excessive drinking increased significantly. That increase led to a drastic rise in liver transplants. Researchers found that liver transplants and the number of people on a waiting list due to alcoholic hepatitis was 50% higher than expected. It usually takes years for heavy drinking to cause the condition, but even short periods of excessive drinking can cause irreversible liver damage. Last week, tragedy struck on the set of the movie Rust, when actor Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun that was loaded with live rounds, killing a member of the crew. Now an investigation into the shooting revealed serious concerns around the crew member who handed Baldwin the gun. John Lorick has the details on the findings.
As friends mourn the passing of director of photography Helena Hutchins,
I didn't even think of something like this. I mean, it wouldn't have even been something I could ever have imagined, honestly.
her death while working on the film Rust is sparking questions about on-set gun safety.
It seems like no safety protocols were followed.
According to newly released affidavits, actor Alec Baldwin was handed the weapon from a cart by assistant director Dave Halls, who did not know there were live rounds in the gun.
An AD should never be touching a gun. They can ask for a safety inspection, they can ask questions, but they should never, no crew member other than the armorer or the talent should be touching a weapon, ever.
Two people who worked closely with Halls say he was the subject of safety and behavior complaints during two different 2019 productions, and a production company from a previous movie says he was fired after a gun incident.
He said it was a cold weapon. How did he know? Did he check it? No. The armorer should never have left her guns unattended.
Halls has not responded to requests for comment. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The director of the film was also injured in the shooting, and production is on hold indefinitely while the investigation continues.
Coming up in sports, head coach Lane Kiffin spoke highly of the crowd from Saturday's win over LSU. Hear what he says it does for future recruits. And one women's basketball player received a preseason All-SEC first-team honor. Find out more up next in sports.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Does it ever seem like some people are actually trying to destroy the planet? And the rest of us are like, hey, we need this planet. Some people may be slow to learn, but they'll eventually get the message.
Recruiting season is well underway, and after having an atmosphere like the one at this past weekend's LSU game, head coach Lane Kiffin is hearing some positive feedback from recruits.
You could just, see it on their face and how they talked about, wow, what an awesome game. The crowd was awesome. Really could see myself playing here. So that was really good. And like I said, that's how it's supposed to be. So we need to keep doing that and having atmospheres like that, just like we need to keep making sacks and making touchdowns.
So Rebels, keep up the energy throughout the rest of the season and bring it out to other sports too, as they continue to make news even in the preseason, like the Ole Miss women's basketball team, who earned the 6th place slot in the SEC preseason coaches poll, the highest preseason ranking for Ole Miss since the poll started predicting in 2007 and 8. Ole Miss was also picked to finish 8th in the preseason media poll, which is its highest ranking since 2015 season. And forward Shakira Austin was named as a member for the preseason All-SEC first team. This team is voted on by the SEC coaches who cannot vote for their own team or players. The women's basketball team is coming off a historic postseason run and are returning with impressive roster for the 2021-22 season, including reigning Freshman of the Year Madison Scott, dedicated returners like Danetta Johnson and Mimi Reed, as well as a couple of highly proclaimed newcomers. And speaking of Ole Miss newcomers, volleyball's Kylie McLaughlin was named SEC Player and Setter of the Week on Monday, after an impressive performance in the 2 matches against Mizzou with a total of 65 assists, marking the Rebels' highest hitting percentage in an SEC match since 2014. McLaughlin has also recorded a season high of 6 blocks at the net. McLaughlin is the second Rebel this season to pick up SEC weekly honors after Sasha Ratliff just a few weeks ago. The Rebels return home this weekend to host a 2-match series against South Carolina. Both matches will air on SEC Network at 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday. And Ole Miss women's golf finished second at the East Lake Cup in Atlanta, Georgia, securing their spot in the number 2 versus number 3 match against Duke this Tuesday to determine the team championship. Andrea Lindell led the way for the Rebels, sinking 6 birdies in her round, the most out of all the players at the match, securing her a tie for the second on individual leaderboard. The Rebels as a team dominated in par 5 scoring, shooting 10 under par with a total of 17 birdies, tying number 1 Oklahoma State for the most on the field. Head coach Corey Hinkins says it felt much more like Ole Miss golf than it has all semester. And baseball fans can get excited because the MLB World Series begins tonight. The Houston Astros will host the Atlanta Braves for a chance to win their 2nd championship in 5 years after losing to the Washington Nationals the last time they made the series in 2019. The Braves and the Astros are 2 of the top 4 hitting teams in the postseason, with stars like Ozzie Albies and Jose Altuve. The Braves are looking to take home their 2nd World Series title in the franchise history. Their only other title came in 1995, and they haven't competed for the Commissioner's Trophy since 1999. Game 1 airs tonight on Fox with the first pitch at 7 p.m. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us at Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
There are plenty of trademark fall foods and decorations, and today is the day to celebrate the king of them all. Find out which fall staple today is dedicated to up on NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Okay. And then I go over there.
Your support is your promise that joins ours to fight for a world free of breast cancer. Susan G. Komen.
I work out every day. COVID won't kill me.
I'm 24. COVID won't kill me.
I have antibodies. COVID won't kill me.
It's been a long week. COVID won't kill me.
I'm 25. COVID won't kill me.
I'm partying outside. COVID won't kill me.
I don't need to wear a mask around my friends. COVID won't kill me.
I'm 23. COVID won't kill me.
If I haven't gotten it yet, COVID won't kill me.
I'm young. COVID won't kill me.
Famous last words. Don't let them be yours. Socially distance. Mask up, America.
She protects me, I protect her. I'm in the fire department and I'm in the National Guard.
I was tasked to administer the vaccine. I saw firsthand what we were dealing with.
Her mom is very immune compromised.
We've not lost anyone from COVID. So much of that is due to the vaccine. I don't know what would have happened if my mom would have gotten COVID. People are worried about the vaccine and what effects that might have later. I'm worried about living right now. I want to enjoy my mom and my grandparents. This time right now is precious to me.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. Ready! That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Whether you enjoy pumpkin decor, pumpkin patches, or pumpkin spice lattes, National Pumpkin Day is actually well worth learning about. In the 19th century, when a lot of Irish immigrated to the United States, they brought with them the tradition of using vegetables to scare spirits away. Pumpkins were actually native to the region and were harvested in the fall, so it was just meant to be. There are many ways to celebrate this national day by carving jack-o'-lanterns, roasting pumpkin seeds, or popping a pumpkin pie in the oven. Join in on the fun and share your creations with NewsWatch by tagging NewsWatch with the hashtag National Pumpkin Day. Well, have you heard any crazy pumpkin stories?
Oh my gosh, I saw a group of girls with pumpkins on their head, like they had carved the pumpkins and then put them on their head, just walking around the square, taking pictures in front of the courthouse and everything. I was like, crazy. I wonder if they'll do it again tonight. I don't know.
Definitely only Oxford, you'll see.
Yeah.
That's all for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Hannah Baker.
And I'm Sarah Gail Myers. Make sure to follow us on social media at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest news on the Ole Miss Oxford community.
Thank you and good night.